Have you ever wondered what the world will be like in the future? With mankind developing new technology faster than ever before, it's likely our world will be completely different in the next 20 or 30 years than what it is now. In today's video, we're going to take a deeper look into some of the new and exciting technology that is expected to be released in the next few decades, and maybe get a glimpse into what our world could look like in the year 2050. But before we start, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to our channel for more awesome videos like this. Let's start with one that's probably on the top of everyone's future bucket list, which is space tours and travel. Have you ever imagined what it will be like to travel to space? Well, in 2050, it might be possible. According to Business Insider, space tourism could happen by then, with rocket companies like Elon Musk, SpaceX, and Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin. We could see the beginning of space tours being made available to the general public. How cool would that be? You won't have to train your entire life to be an astronaut. In the future, you could book a space holiday as easily as buying a plane ticket. It will most likely cost a fortune for one of those interstellar seats, and unfortunately will only be affordable for the super rich. So, if you want to travel through space, you better start saving now. There's also the possibility of colonizing other planets. Elon Musk, for example, is working on a project that could see the first human settlement begin in the next 10 years. Although, it will take a very long time before it becomes livable for the general population. As Mars has a very cold climate and no oxygen, we would most likely need to build small, contained ecosystems that can produce oxygen for us to breathe. But it's still pretty exciting to think that we could be in the first generation human space travelers. The next thing we will likely have in the future is advanced drones. Just look at Amazon and Jubilant Foodworks, who are already using drones for the delivery of goods and pizzas. With drones being bought and used for surveillance and mapping, it's not long until they slowly start taking over and overthrow our local delivery guys. Incanova is a company that has made full use of this fact and started to work on building drones that can fly, drive, climb, and even use laser technology to scan areas and generate a 3D map of them. These super advanced drones will prove to be very useful for mapping underground mines and other inaccessible zones in the future. We will also have a lot of new energy sources available. Solar power has proven to be an excellent source of energy. Of course, since we have easy access to sunlight. But can you imagine what space solar power can bring to the table? Orbital solar power stations or satellites can be built in high orbit that can use microwave or laser power transmission to send solar energy to Earth using very large antennae. That energy could then eliminate the need for old, polluting energy sources such as diesel or petrol. A solar power plant placed in orbit would not be affected by day and night cycles, seasons, or weather because of its constant exposure to the sun. However, this idea isn't actually new. It has been around since 1968, but construction costs are through the roof, and back then they didn't have the technology that we have today to make it possible. Another new energy source is ocean thermal energy, and is one of the world's largest renewable energy sources, but it is oddly a largely untapped resource. It's frustrating to even say this. Like, come on, water is everywhere. But that's not to say that companies aren't using it though. The geniuses at Blue Rise are generating utility-scale electricity through ocean thermal energy conversion. Once they get a breakthrough, it will be able to surpass fossil fuel energy and other renewables that require storage and grid balancing. Its main advantage is that it's one of the very few constant energy sources available all year round. We will also make huge advancements in the neuroprosthetics field. Have you ever thought about controlling a computer using your thoughts? What about controlling your house by sending out brainwaves? It may take decades to reach this point, but it can happen. In fact, the first neuroprosthetics are already on the market. There are cochlear implants and retinal implants, which were approved by the FDA back in 2013. There are also implants for people with Parkinson's disease that can send electrical pulses deep into the brain, activating some of the pathways involved in motor control. There are also rare cases of brain implant therapies for people paralysed due to spinal cord injury, or other neurological damage. These implants are inserted into the brain and read off electrical signals that are translated by computer to restore a bit of movement and communication. But if you pair it with an exoskeleton, then hope for the paralysed is truly possible. It even made the news that Tybalt, a 30-year-old paralysed man, was able to move all his limbs with the help of an exoskeleton that can read brainwaves. Isn't that awesome? Following on from neuroprosthetics, we will probably also develop hardware implants. If you've played Cyberpunk long enough, then you'll get an idea of what we're talking about here. There are already famous examples of real-life cyborgs, people with hearing aids powered with artificial intelligence. John, who works at customer service, and patients wearing implanted pacemakers. These people are technically cyborgs, and they may be everywhere around us in a matter of time. A new generation of people might likely start the cyborg trend, where they would implant devices and hardware into their bodies just to look cooler. Bit of a step up from a tattoo or piercing, right? It's not just a bad thing though. Utilising this in the medical field makes it possible to repair physical impairments, such as eyesight problems. Although, it can also pave the way to the possibility of having the eyesight of an eagle and other superhuman qualities. There's also a lot of hope for people who have lost limbs in accidents. As there are currently a number of robotic prosthetics available already, you can bet that in the next few decades we will be able to create human-like prosthetics that integrate with your body. Our medical expertise will also improve immensely. There are a lot of world-breaking ideas to improve medical practices, but let's start with the one that we've been hoping to make a reality. The concept of the medical tricorder from Star Trek has been in talks for years, and we are hopeful that researchers can pull it off. Can you imagine having a device that can immediately give you a diagnosis, the patient's vital signs, and health parameters all from one scan? The closest to the medical tricorder is the Viatom CheckMe Pro. This device not only measures your body temp, but measures pulse rate and rhythm, systolic blood pressure, oxygen saturation, physical activity, and can even trace sleep patterns. Instead of patiently waiting for the findings of medical professionals, patients will become the point of care while monitoring their health by themselves. It's a handy device to have for sure. Nanotech and targeted treatments are also worth a mention. Nano devices and nanoparticles will soon operate as cancer treatment tools, precise drug delivery systems, or microscopic surgeons. Researchers from the Max Planck Institute are trying to make this a reality and have been experimenting with these micro-sized robots that can swim through body fluids. These microbots can be used to deliver drugs in a highly targeted way, just like the Amazon delivery man, only much, much smaller. These delivery bots are designed to swim through non-Newtonian fluids, like your blood, around your lymphatic system, or across the slippery fluid on the surface of your eyeballs. Although we are not there yet, the development of digestibles could be our one-way ticket to the wonderful world of nano devices. These tiny pills combined with a sensor could track the digestion and absorption of drugs after taking them. It's already been out since 2015, where the FDA approved the first drug product combined with a digestible sensor. The Japanese pharmaceutical company, Otsuka, and Proteus Digital Health created a digestible sensor incorporated with a drug against mental illness. With the patient's approval, the tiny sensor could communicate with a wearable sensor patch when the drug is taken. Then the information is transmitted to the patient or caretaker's smartphone or tablet. Pretty convenient, right? Another thing to look forward to is the fact that autonomous vehicles will most likely be used by the masses in 2050. Will public transportation take to the skies? Who knows, but this could be a reality in 2050. Successful demonstration flights of autonomous aerial vehicles, or AAVs, have been carried out already. AAVs are autonomous human-carrying drones that are designed for transporting passengers. Most configurations of these flying vehicles use vertical takeoff and landing through horizontal rotors, eliminating the need for a runway. Although they're similar to drones, AAVs are much different. The idea behind AAVs is to have commuters hop on board, taking them off congested roads and flying them to their destinations on direct routes. If you hate traffic and long commutes, then AAVs are something to look forward to. The EHang 184 is a concept for the world's first air taxi and debuted in Qatar for the FIFA World Cup in 2022. The 5G connected urban air mobility vehicle is controlled through a smart city command centre and is the current model for AAVs. But what if you're not a fan of public transport? Well, Uber is actually releasing a new flying taxi that is already being tested right now. These small, helicopter-looking cabs could be in your city as early as 2023, and you could order them in the exact same way you order your Uber today. The bad thing is that there won't be any driver for you to ask the "busy night?" question to. Another vehicle advancement we could likely see is the development of hoverbikes. Maybe not as extreme as the ones on the movie Tron, but you get the idea. You've seen hoverboards, but have you ever thought about the idea of hoverbikes? This concept of hoverbikes is comparable to an AAV, in that it uses a VTOL platform. However, instead of being unmanned, a human operator rides and controls the vehicle. The design resembles the common motorbike with 4 rotors and is capable of carrying one person, perfect for singles like you and me. Like AAVs, the aim of hoverbikes is to provide a method of transportation that reduces street traffic for short distance travel. A Russian company called Hoversurf has developed the S3 2019 hoverbike, a one-piece carbon fibre frame that runs on batteries and is capable of flying 96 km per hour at 33 feet of altitude. But for $150,000 per bike, commuters won't be getting their hands on the hoverbike anytime soon. Looks like cram buses are all we've got for now. And that's a wrap. There is a lot of groundbreaking future tech that's waiting for us in the next few years, and we're lucky to be in a time where we have the resources and minds to make these a reality. What tech do you expect to see in 2050? Was there any that I missed? Write a comment down below and let us know. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell icon to stay updated whenever we release a new video. Other than that,